Is masturbation truly harmless? Understanding the science and philosophy behind it, we've all heard that masturbation is something completely normal, but to what extent? How many times a day can you engage in this act before it becomes an addiction? And what if you find yourself unable to stop? Let's answer these questions and explore why you might want to reconsider this habit that, while seemingly harmless, can actually trap you in ways you might not expect. Before we dive in, I apologize for the dramatic cover. I needed to catch your attention on this critical issue that affects so many young people and adults. Draining our willpower. In this video, you'll understand what happens to our brain, both scientifically and philosophically, and discover what Stoicism can teach us about this vice. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our content. Let's start with some history. Modern medicine is clear in stating that masturbation is completely normal, not only in humans, but also in other mammals like dogs. However, this view of masturbation hasn't always been so accepted. In the past, it was considered immoral, especially for men, because it was seen as unproductive and wasteful. For women, it was believed that masturbation could distance them from men by allowing them to find pleasure on their own. On top of the moral concerns, there were also physical fears. People believed that masturbation could cause diseases, making it highly discouraged. But let's return to the present. What do we really know about masturbation? Particularly for men dealing with insomnia. It's known that masturbation can induce sleep because, as a French Institute of Health and Medical Research study concluded, the male brain deactivates sexual desire after orgasm. The cerebral cortex, responsible for conscious thought, goes into rest mode once climax is achieved, which not only nullifies the desire for further sexual activity, but also facilitates sleep. So, what's the issue? Hidden within one of its benefits is a trap. If you're a regular on this channel, you know what I'm talking about. Masturbation releases dopamine in the brain, a hormone that makes us feel good, reduces stress, and provides a sense of reward. This pleasure can be so intense that some people become addicted. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders even includes hypersexuality disorder, which can involve excessive masturbation under the category of obsessive-compulsive disorders, a vice that can lead to both mental and familial destruction. When you become addicted, you might find it hard to control yourself, becoming a victim of your own lack of discipline. This can lead to compulsive behaviors like seeking out prostitutes, engaging in sex with multiple partners, or consuming excessive pornography. Always, a dopamine-saturated brain tries to achieve pleasure. Addiction to masturbation stems from the chemicals released in the brain. As your brain adapts to the release of dopamine, it starts craving more to achieve the same level of pleasure, leading to a vicious cycle where you're constantly seeking that next high. Eventually, your brain begins to block dopamine receptors to protect itself from overstimulation. As a result, you might find yourself masturbating without the same pleasure, leading to frustration and an even deeper compulsion to chase that fleeting feeling. Now, you might be wondering what Stoicism has to do with all of this. Stoic philosophers like Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus, masters of self-control and wisdom, had a unique perspective on pleasure and lust. For the Stoics, masturbation wasn't just about seeking carnal satisfaction. It was an opportunity to explore the limits of the body and mind. They viewed it as an exercise in self-awareness and a path to true freedom. Epicurus asserted that it's not the pursuit of pleasure, but self-control that distinguishes a good person. Mastery over worldly passions and pleasures was a conquest that elevated the human spirit. Instead of being slaves to our desires, we should strive to be their masters. The Stoics remind us that true satisfaction lies in self-mastery and in finding joy in what is simple and virtuous. They teach us to control our intense emotions through introspection and self-regulation. By consciously facing our emotions, we can learn to manage them in a healthy and constructive way. Allow me to share a personal story. I know someone who's struggled with compulsive masturbation seeking momentary refuge in pleasure but facing an emotional storm after each act. By immersing themselves in Stoic teachings and practicing self-control, this person underwent a profound transformation. They learned to confront their desires consciously, finding true joy in self-control. Today, they live a life of inner peace, free from the slavery of momentary desires. I know someone who once struggled deeply with compulsive masturbation. For this person, masturbation was more than just a physical act. It had become a means of escaping from the pressures and stresses of life. Whenever they felt overwhelmed, anxious, or even just bored, they would turn to this habit as a way to find temporary relief. The pleasure they experienced in those moments was, undeniable. But it was always fleeting. Almost immediately after, they were engulfed by feelings of guilt, shame, and regret, creating an emotional storm that seemed impossible to escape. This cycle repeated itself over and over again. They would feel the urge, give into it, experience brief satisfaction, and then be left with a heavy sense of emptiness and self-loathing. It became a trap, a never-ending loop that only deepened their feelings of inadequacy and helplessness. They were fully aware that this behavior was unhealthy and damaging, but they felt powerless to stop. The sense of being controlled by their own desires was crushing, and it took a toll on their mental and emotional well-being. Desperate for a way out, they began to explore different philosophies and practices that might help them regain control over their life. That's when they discovered the teachings of the Stoics, ancient philosophers who emphasized the importance of self-control, discipline, and living in harmony with nature. Intrigued by their wisdom, this person decided to immerse themselves in Stoic teachings, reading works by Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus. At first, it wasn't easy. The Stoic principles seemed simple, but applying them to everyday life, especially in the face of strong urges, was incredibly challenging. However, with time and dedication, they began to see a shift in their mindset. They started to understand that true freedom didn't come from indulging in every desire, but from mastering those desires. The Stoics taught them that they had the power to choose their actions and that they didn't have to be a slave to their impulses. They learned to confront their desires head-on, not with fear or suppression, but with a deep understanding of where those urges came from and what they truly needed. They practiced mindfulness and self-reflection, asking themselves why they felt the need to seek pleasure in this way and what they were hoping to achieve. Through this process, they realized that the happiness they were seeking couldn't be found in momentary pleasures, but in living a life aligned with their values and purpose. As they continued to practice self-control and embrace the Stoic philosophy, something remarkable happened. The urges that once seemed so overwhelming began to lose their power. The emotional storms that used to follow each act of indulgence started to fade. They no longer felt the same intense need to escape into temporary pleasure because they had found a deeper, more lasting sense of peace within themselves. Today, this person lives a life of inner peace, free from the compulsion that once dominated their existence. They have gained a sense of mastery over their desires, and more importantly, over their mind. By choosing to live in accordance with their deepest principles and values, they have discovered a profound joy that is far more fulfilling than any fleeting pleasure. Their journey wasn't easy, but it stands as a testament to the power of self-discipline and the transformative potential of philosophical wisdom. It's a reminder that we all have the ability to change our lives, to break free from the chains of our desires, and to find true satisfaction in living authentically and with purpose. So, my friend, what are you doing with your life? Do you think sitting at home, watching those videos, and taking pleasure with your hands will make you confident and successful? Do you think wasting your time and energy on such activities will help you attract a partner? No, it won't. Think wisely. In the comments, I want you to write, I am a powerful person. I have control over my mind. I choose to do what motivates me. I choose to do what improves me. Thank you for staying with me. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe for more.